So we're going to be starting Unit 8 today. So this unit is compiled of two different topics. So we used to have this as two separate units, but especially for right now, we're just going to combine everything to Unit 8. This is going to be your last unit. So for the first part, we're going to cover sequences and series. And then the last part, so into next week, we'll be covering limits. So guys, looking at a sequence. So hopefully you have seen a sequence of numbers before. So a sequence of numbers is just a list of numbers that are in some ordered progression. So it gives us a couple examples. So this sequence here, we're adding by 5 every time. This sequence here, we are multiplying by 2 every time. They did go ahead and write a general formula here. This they didn't write everything out, but they're saying we're using the formula 1 over k, and if we were to plug in numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on. And then this is just a list of terms. They didn't actually tell us what the terms are, but all of these are considered a sequence. So it's a list of numbers. So when we refer to a sub k or a sub n, this is called our general term. Okay, so we'll see like a sub 1, which means the first term, a sub 2, which means the second term, but when they refer to a sub k or a sub n, they're just talking about the general term. So a lot of times the formula that you're going to use for your sequence. And then the last thing we want to talk about is the difference between a finite sequence and an infinite sequence. So a finite sequence means that the sequence is going to end. Okay, it's not going to keep going on forever. Whereas an infinite series is going to keep going on forever. So out of our examples we have here, the first one, if you look, is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then it doesn't have the it doesn't have anything after that to tell you that it keeps going. So this would be considered a finite sequence. But now looking at number 2, see how it gives us a formula and it says it keeps going on forever. So number 2 would be considered our infinite series. Same thing with number 3. They give us a formula. They tell you you're going to plug in 1, 2, 3, and you're going to keep plugging in forever and ever and ever. So this would also be infinite. And then for the last one, even though they don't actually tell you what the values are in the sequence, it does say that it keeps going on forever, so it would also be infinite. So finite means it stops. Infinite means it keeps going on forever. Sequence is just an ordered progression of numbers. So what we're going to talk about first is it says the sequence is explicitly defined if we can write the kth term explicitly as a function of k. So when we're talking about explicitly defined, in your Canvas course, you should have gotten a formula sheet. So if we were to take the exam this year, this would be the formula sheet that you're given. If you want to just take a look at the formula sheet real quick, if you notice it has our law of sines, law of cosines that we've already covered, and it has stuff for conic section. So we're just going to be looking at the top part for this unit, for the sequences and series. So when it says an explicitly defined, that means you can write a formula for this. So we're either going to be looking at, so these are explicit formulas that we have on our formula sheet here. So if you look at the a sub n, here's one formula, and then the a sub n, here's another formula. And I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit, but when we're talking about explicit formulas, we can get an actual formula. And so we may have to refer to this formula sheet. So right now we're just looking at the a sub n. Okay, so looking at our first example, and then we will be going back to that formula sheet at a later time. But it says find the first 6 terms and the 100th term of the sequence a sub k, in which a sub k is k squared minus 1. So we didn't need that formula sheet here because they gave us the formula. Formula sheets when you want to write the formula. So here's our formula. Because this is the explicit formula, this means you can just plug in whatever number for k, that's the number in the sequence that you want to get. So if we want to find the first term, we're going to really find a sub 1, which means we're going to plug in 1 for k, which will give us 0. And then if we want to find the second term, we can plug in 2 for k, which will give us 3. Third term, plug in 3 for k, which will give us 8. fourth term, we can plug in 4 for k, which will give us 15. Fifth term, plug in 5 for k. Hopefully, see how this is going to work at this point. So this is going to give us 24. And then it asks us up to the sixth term. So if we plug in 6, that'll give us 35. So what it said, find the first 6 terms if we wanted to write them as a sequence. So we have 0, then 3, 8, 15, 24, 35, and the sequence would keep going on forever. So this would be our first 6 terms of our sequence. Then it also said find the 100th term. Well, because this is an explicit formula, whatever term you want to find, you just plug that number in. So if we wanted to find the 100th term, we would plug in 100 for k, which will give us 9,999. This right here would be our 100th term. Okay, so explicit formula, explicitly defined, they're going to give you a formula. Whatever term they want you to find, you just plug that number in for that variable that they're using there. Alright, so next, we want to find the first 4 terms of the sequence with our explicitly defined formula there. We have a sub n equals 3 times 2 to the n minus 1. And we want to find the first 4 terms. So to find the first term, we're going to plug in 1. So a sub 1, we're going to plug in 1. So that'll be 2 to the 0th power, which is 1, so that's just going to be 3. And then to get the second term, we're going to plug in 2 for n. Which will give us 6. And then plug in 3 to get our third term. That'll give us 12. And then it said to go up to the 4th term, so we're going to plug in 4. And it'll give us 24. So the first 4 terms of our sequence, we have 3, 6, 12, 24, and that would keep going on forever. So it'd be an infinite sequence there. Okay, so once again, they gave us a formula. It was called an explicit formula. Okay, it's called explicit because if we want to find the terms, we are able to just plug in the value for the number of terms that we want to find, and that will tell us what that value is. So now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about recursively defined. So guys, if it says anything about recursive formulas are not on your formula sheet. Okay, recursive formulas, it says a sequence is defined recursively when each term is defined by a formula relating it to the preceding term. So, these are a little more complicated just because they're going to look a little strange when they're written. So, whenever you're having recursive, you always have to depend on the previous term to get the next term. Okay, when we were working with explicit, it did not matter what the previous term was. You just plugged in the number of the term you wanted. So the previous term. So some things that you're going to see. You may see it say like a sub n minus 1. Or sometimes they'll write a sub n plus 1. And depending on what the equation's going to say, that will represent the next term or the previous term. Okay, so we'll look at that. But recursive always depends on the previous term. So let's go ahead and look at example 3. So we want to find the first 6 terms of the sequence b sub n in which b sub 1 equals 3. That's another thing about recursive. They have to give you the first term. If they don't give you the first term, you can't do the problem. And it says b sub n equals b sub n minus 1 plus 2. And that happens for all n is greater than 1. Okay. So we are supposed to find the first 6 terms. We already know the first term is 3. So do you see how it says this b sub n minus 1 here? Because if this is b sub n and this is b sub n minus 1, this means that you're going to use the previous term. So let me show you how it's going to work. If I want to find b sub 2, if this is b sub 2, that's n, and this is b sub n minus 1, that's talking about b sub 1, and then we have plus 2. Well, we know that b sub 1 was 3, So 3 plus 2 means that this term is going to be 5. Okay, so to find the third term, that's really going to be b sub 2 plus 2. So when you're finding the third term, well, we know b sub 2 is 5, so 5 plus 2 is going to give you 7. So we can kind of try to do this without having to write it out. So whenever you see this b sub n minus 1, it just means the previous term. So for the previous one, we got 7, so we're really just doing 7 plus 2, which is going to give us 9. We had to go all the way up to 6. So then if we did b sub 5, previous terms, what that means, so 9 plus 2, which gives us 11. And then for the last one, b sub 6, we use the previous term, which is 11 plus 2, which gives us 13. So recursive depends on what you got for your previous answer. When we were doing explicit, it had nothing to do with what the previous answer was. So we started out with 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. And it makes sense because if you look here, all we're doing here is adding 2 to the previous term. Well, look, previous term plus 2 is what we wrote here. So that's how recursive works. So the formula is going to look a little strange, but just take a look at your formula before you start and understand what this means, if it means previous term. That way, you don't really have to write it out. You can just kind of think about what they're asking.